Hello.
Hello!
Welcome to another episode of Film Critters Processes.
Film Critters Processes.
Uh,
I am Baru.
And I am Jay Bearhat.
Yay!
Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about Venom.
Yeah, we saw
We
Venom.
went and saw Venom in IMAX, so Venom was real big and coming right at us.
It was a very large screen.
It was not 3D, unfortunately, so we did not get to see, like, whatever bullshit 3D effects they tossed onto that movie.
Although I would say maybe the best part of the movie is before the movie even started, where there was a commercial where it was like all of these flyover drone shots of Seattle, and they were like, Seattle, a place of innovation.
And then there's just, like, the weird dissonant voices just naming, like, Seattle,
Yeah.
like, businesses, like,
There's like
Boeing, Amazon.
This weird ASMR video happens where like people just say the names of companies that are ruining your entire fucking life. So it'll just be like Microsoft, Amazon.
But they're literally like stereoed, like they're stereoed, so like they'll sound like they're coming from like all over the place.
Yeah, it's freaky.
It's sort of like a scene in a movie when a person's having like a dissociative like breakdown and like all the voices start becoming really sharp and like really in the left and like right speakers and stuff, but
Right.
it's people saying the names of brands.
Yeah. So Venom was
Big and dumb.
big and dumb.
Yeah,
That's
big
a
and
really
dumb.
good. Yeah.
I was kind of expecting it because it was a film I noticed like when it came out super critically like hated, so I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this movie's probably gonna bomb. And then I started seeing more and more talking about it, and not just horny furries. And so people were like, this movie's actually like really fun. The critics don't know what they're talking about, and not to like South Park it, but like they're both right. The movie is dumb, but it is
Yeah.
big and it is fun.
I was noticing as I was watching it, just kind of like, yep, I've seen this scene before, I've seen this scene before, I've seen this scene before, with different characters kind of palette swapped and different like dialogue and different, whatever. But like, it you understand what you're getting. You're eating junk food, and it's honestly really, really like as junk food goes, it's incredible.
This is the like if your Transformers is like the 7-Eleven impulse buy, Venom is the like you walked like half a mile because you're drunk, but there's like one thing at 7-Eleven you really want.
Yeah,
And it's there.
7-Eleven is like those weird like the like nori pretzels and like the 7-Up whiteout or whatever.
Yeah, and like I really like the like little buffalo chicken sticks that they have on the little rolling thing. Like those are really good. Venom is that.
Yeah.
Where it's not good and like you're probably gonna like digest it very quickly.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what you wanted.
I did remember, it kind of cycled my brain a little bit, and I did remember that I kind of liked Venom when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, it turns out, like, I thought that Venom and, like, Carnage and kind of all of those arcs in Spider-Man were kind of really interesting, especially as the thing that they maybe are setting up is that there's going to be a movie where kind of Spider-Man gets corrupted, which, cool. Excited for that to be a possibility, because that was I seem to remember that being a huge arc in the comics.
No, that's a big thing is that I forget, he has a name, I forget what it was. I was like actually a Spider-Man kid when I was a kid.
Right.
I remember seeing the Sam Raimi one in theaters because it came out on my birthday and I was like 11 and like really into Spider-Man, so I was like, I gotta go see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know, like if I remember correctly, that was a plot point. Is like at some point, Spider-Man gets the symbiote. I actually think Eddie Brock is like the second or third person to get it. Like in the film, they show like J. Jonah Jameson Jr. Like getting it briefly, which if I remember has like way more of an arc in the cartoon and in the comic.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because there's like a whole motivation there where like J. Jonah Jameson is like upset because the son got corrupted and like Spider-Man killed him or whatever. But in this one, he just like fucking dies like immediately.
Yeah, almost immediately.
He like crashes. He's still alive, and then Venom like crashes the ambulance that he's in, and it's like, well, bye.
Yeah, but there's this sort of B plot in the movie that's kind of very silly, where it's just like they sort of like land in Malaysia, and then they're kind of like making their way. It's like I think it's not Carnage, it's Riot.
Oh, yeah, it's Riot.
Riot is the like
they
one
fake
of the
you out, making you think that's going to be who Venom is, and then it's
Yeah.
like, no, that's actually the bad guy, which is why he then like takes over like a 12-year-old girl, and that's like that scene was weird to me because like you show him going towards the 12-year-old girl, and then later you see him like the 12-year-old girl walking out of the airport, but she's like unaccompanied.
Yeah.
and she had a mother.
And she has this, like, kind of messed up looking makeup.
Yeah, but it's just like I remember seeing that scene. I'm like, so did like he kill the mom, and then the kid just got on the plane by herself because like this kid had a mom in the previous scene that we saw her, and like I'm assuming he took over the girl in a way where like people wouldn't notice, and so did the mom just be like, "Oh, bye, honey, go catch a cab."
Yeah, go buy a heated pretzel, and we'll call it a day.
Because like you can't even like bring nail clippers into an airport. I don't think you can like murder your mother and then just like walk away and not like have a panic.
Do you think the TSA checks for like alien symbiotes?
I don't mean they don't run the kid through the. I get actually
Yeah.
that is a question. Does the body scanner catch that the kid is a symbiote in it? Because I assume the body scanner hits that frequency that fucks them up.
Ooh, yeah. There's some. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, you know, it's a Marvel movie.
I do like the part in the Marvel movie where they're like, how do we establish that he's weak to not just sound but also fire? And they just have a scene where Venom says, also fire. He's like, so sound is like his weakness, and then Venom just goes, also fire, like literally yells fire as well.
That's like one of their sort of allotted Joss Whedon moments in the movie. Definitely, it's just there's a lot of really cute writing, especially between like Venom and Eddie Brock as they like kind of get to know each other. It becomes like this weird sort of like buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
But it's also cute. I think it's
It's honestly like the best relationship, like the most, ironically, the most human like interaction writing in that film is between Venom and Eddie Brock.
Yeah, it's
like
really
it definitely goes in the path of just like really suddenly Venom is like, I like Earth because I like you, Eddie. But I like that they also kind of like undermine that, but like, no, the real reason is that Venom's actually like a fucking loser on his planet. So he's like, he doesn't actually have like great motivations here. His motivations are basically just, oh, if I'm the only person on the planet, I'm the strongest. But if like my whole team comes, I'm the fucking loser.
Yeah, no, they there's this whole plot in the movie where they're kind of just like, yeah, the symbiotes have to sort of perfectly mesh with the body of their host. So, like, Riot, who's like a really, really effective like symbiote, and who has like a lot of really kind of advanced weaponry, which I didn't really get. Like,
he has like spears.
He has like spears, and he has like a flail. It's kind of, I don't know. It's like seems like the same shit to me. But so like Riot being like a really effective symbiote who kind of ends up being in the host body of Elon Musk.
Yeah, there's an Elon Musk-esque character who's maybe actually in the comics, but I don't care enough.
Yeah,
he's just Elon Musk.
He's very it's whatever. He's just a bad guy character. He's really whatever. Tom Hardy though, just the idea of like a loser alien inside the host of a loser podcast.
Dude, yeah.
Like a Joe Rogan.
a washed up Joe Rogan. That's actually, so let's get to the Joe Rogan part of the film. The biggest unbelievable point in the film to me is that a reporter whose main gimmick is taking down the big bad guys and just doing like very dickish interviews would not, upon being fired, immediately have a $3 million Patreon.
Right? Like, what fucking world? Like, because Marvel sort of approximates toward like a 2018 world, and then they kind of don't get it.
Yeah. Like that, and like it's weird because I feel like that would have still established him as like a loser and stuff. Is because like he'd be like, oh, I have to make reports now instead of appealing to like corporate. I'm appealing to like mass interest and stuff, and so like I have to do these like stupid exposés I don't care about as much because my expose is about traffic or whatever are like not as appreciated. But it's like they show him like to establish when he was cool, he's like doing like reports on like bodies about how this like the San Francisco Police Department doesn't care about people, which is true, by the way. That actually is true. It's just like all these like really like hard hitting like very Alex Jonesy Joe Rogan like expose like exploitative like schlock. But you're supposed to get that he's like an actually good journalist, and then he gets fired and he's like quits. He just like stops doing anything. And it's like not like he's like an obscure like Washington Post, like I have like a really successful New York Times bestseller but no one else knows what I write journalist. People like recognize him on the street and at bars. Yeah, this guy's just looks over at him at the bar, and he's just like, aren't you Eddie Brock? And he's like, I used to be. And it's like, no, like in real life, this man would absolutely fail upward. Yeah. No,
But
he would get fired, immediately post, like, do a periscope on, like, Twitter about it while he's being
yeah,
escorted out of the building.
yeah.
He'd do the fucking baked Alaska thing where he stands in a parking lot of an In-N-Out spinning in a circle for 30 minutes yelling at people, and he would have $1 million in Patreon money.
Yeah, absolutely. Just day one. The thing that really, really made this movie incredible was his transformation from Joe Rogan to Charlie Kelly.
Yeah, we, like, halfway through the film, I was just like, because at the start we're like, okay, he's like a Joe Rogan type, and like halfway through the film, he's like entering like a fancy restaurant, and he's like sweating, and he's like, "Is anyone else hot here? Is anyone else hot here? Is anyone else hot here? Oh, it's so hungry!" And he like eats a lobster. He's like, "Oh, it's dead," and throws it, and then he just climbs into the lobster bed, and he's like, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine." And he's like, the whole film, he's just wearing like sweaty, gross, stained sweatshirts.
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes of Joe Rogan like eating like frozen tater tots that he hasn't even cooked like straight out of the bag. And
pulling rotting chicken out of the garbage and being like, yeah, eating it, and then immediately vomiting.
Yeah. And then like he just kind of acts crazy and walks into like sort of like downtown San Francisco-y places where they're like nice restaurants and like had nice ornate lobbies, and he just kind of acts wild.
It's literally just like, once he gets Venom in him, he just turns into Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Like the exact same level of mannerisms and just like goofy comedy where like the whole bit is just him making people as uncomfortable as possible through just being disgusting and oblivious. And driven by like literally the most like lowest hierarchy of Maslow's needs.
Yeah, so I absolutely highly recommend it, if only for that experience of just watching Tom Hardy pull some Charlie Kelly shit. Like it's so much fun, and the arc of him like kind of, you know, the arc of him kind of like meeting Venom and kind of gaining back control of his body and all of this stuff is like really, it feels effectively done to me, and it feels fun in a way that it should be. And I think that most of that is on Tom Hardy for just doing a fucking great job.
Yeah, no, he played it really well. The end scene, which was entirely just in the end of the movie so that they could put it in the trailer,
Yeah.
was like really fucking stupid.
Wait,
No.
which
The part when like he stops the robber guy at the convenience store and he's just like a
Yes.
turd in the wind. I'm like, this whole scene was written to be in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because it's literally tacked on after the movie has more or less ended.
Yeah, it's like a payoff, but it's like a silly payoff that's like also kind of not very well considered. I don't know. It's like it's all over the place. Did he eat that guy? The guy just,
Yeah, he just eats him.
he just totally, the guy just disappears.
Because it's right after the guy with Venom. Like that's another weird thing. The movie's like, I think PG-13 rated. So there's like multiple scenes where Venom eats people's heads or like rips limbs off, and you just don't see it. The person just no clips out of existence.
Yeah.
We get a POV shot of Venom going like "rawr," and then it's Tom Hardy standing there, and there's no signs of like anything that happened. So it's just, oh, that guy's dead and he ate him, and then he's like, I got a parasite. And there's like a scene where like sexy girl Venom bites a dude's head off, and she goes like, I just ate a head, and I was like, did you? Because you just kind of like grabbed a dude, and then it like the guy just disappeared, and none of us saw what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, can we talk about Girl Venom for a second?
That was, I like that Girl Venom is like 8 feet tall.
Yes, that is a really, really good touch. So basically, Eddie Brock has a wife at the very beginning of the movie.
Fiancé.
A fiancé, actually.
Because then that makes her taking the ring off and putting it down more dramatic, but
Yes.
they don't have to follow up with legal proceedings.
Yeah, exactly. So he kind of, like, basically they're like, hey, Eddie Brock, go interview this guy who's also technically paying your wife. And Eddie Brock interviews the guy, and he, like, does all these hard-hitting questions, just like, you kill people. And the guy's like, that's classified, go away. And then he fires his wife, and his wife was like, no.
And it's because, like, they assumed his wife gave the information to him, but he just, like, looked at her email because she just happened to get an email saying, like, hey, Elon Musk kills people. Don't tell anyone. Shh.
Confidential.
Here's the reports back on those on those murders.
Yeah, which also, like, the thing about this movie is that the writing is dog shit. Like, the scene where he's in the office of the sort of, like, shady, like, guy that he works for, and he's like talking. The guy's like, "Where'd you get your sources?" And Eddie Brock's like, "I can't tell you where I got my sources." It's like, well, then what are you fucking doing in this business?
Yeah.
Like, what do you? So yeah, Lady Venom. Basically, his fiance gets possessed by the symbiote.
In order to find Eddie Brock again, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So it's this weird thing where Lady Venom like kisses Eddie Brock and then they transfer the symbiote. And a lot of people don't really know how to take that.
It's like she's like an 8 foot tall, like super sexy Venom.
Yeah.
Like very like het normie concept of
Yeah,
sexy.
I feel like they really split the difference between like freaks and people who just want to see like a tall, big booby Venom.
That scene is like the Venn diagram overlap where the guy who designed Bayonetta lives.
Absolutely, strongly agree. I think more so than that is like there's the fight scene at the end between Venom and Riot where at a certain point it's kind of like because these symbiotes are basically goo, they kind of like mush together in a really weird way. And
there's a lot of like peeling back of it to see Elon Musk and Tom Hardy underneath, like fighting each other, like also physically. It's a really like, it's a weird scene, especially because to me this is just like a slight tangent. One of the things I want to say in the film's like praise, especially one of the few big dumb action movies I've seen in a while that is visually coherent, and that scene is the only one where it isn't, but it makes sense because it's just goo fighting each other. But I was like, in all the chase scenes, I was like, oh, I can actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
There's not like a cut every 3 seconds to like gears moving around. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And by the end of it, it's just like, woo!
The chase scenes, like, they aren't up to my, like, personal standards of what a great chase scene is, but I think that they really, really up to their game on just being good cinematographers and, like, the importance of an audience being able to kind of like make a fake San Francisco in their head that like this sort of chase scene is going through, you know, like, yeah, the chase scenes by and large are really, really good, but that fight scene at the end was kind of a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, it's I get like what they're going for, but it felt like, oh, here's the Transformers part of the film where it's just like you're not supposed to know what's going on, you're just supposed to be getting beaten over the head by action.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Were there any other parts that kind of stood out to you?
Oh yeah, we talked about like the weird dynamic between him and his fiance. It's got that weird Hollywood writing thing where we're just supposed to believe that these characters like each other.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's nothing in the way they interact that actually says that, and like there's the weird thing at the end where it's like Venom is like, she has no idea we're gonna get back to each other. Like he's a little like incel voice of reason or something in Eddie Brock's head. And it's like there's literally no reason for her to like get back with Eddie Brock because he's still a loser and kind of insane now.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend seems like chill. Like her new boyfriend seems like really nice guy.
Yeah, but like, what that goo dick like though?
They didn't.
What that goo do?
What the goo do? That's true. I mean, but it could also be like the Dr. Manhattan thing where it's like you're like, I'm not really.
You know, that's
like it's one thing to be like, oh, we can get freaky, but like you can't turn it off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly.
Also, the idea that he can like hide the fact that he's a symbiote. He's like, oh, like he's like, no, I don't know the symbiote. And she's not gonna know, but like they're still gonna be like out there doing things, and it's like, okay, at some point there's gonna be a report, and she knows what a symbiote is. It's not like she's gonna be like, huh, who's this dude who looks like Venom? Maybe there is a 5th symbiote that we never saw, or maybe it's just Venom.
Yeah.
I guess there's Carnage.
Yes, so that's what I was. Yeah. So at the end of the film, or like, so like the preview for like, you know, here's where we're gonna go next, because I don't remember well. They show Tom Hardy going into like this sort of hyper secure cell area, and you see Woody Harrelson in like a Ronald McDonald wig.
Yeah, it was real bad. That was.
And he's just doing his, like, usual Woody Harrelson voice, and he's like, when I get out of here, there's gonna be carnage. And
then he winks at the camera, and then it goes, Venom 2 coming.
Yeah, and then because of the way that the rest of the movie explains things, they were like, so the next, Woody Harrelson looks into the camera and says, so the next Venom film is going to involve Carnage, the enemy.
But
Marvel...
I'm using the word Carnage as a noun here
Yeah.
to foreshadow that.
Yeah, just to foreshadow. I liked when you pointed out to me how shitty the writing is in Marvel movies. It's just like, because there's a part where Tom Hardy gets hit by a car and then Venom takes over and like his leg is literally dislocated and then his leg gets located back into place because he's like a superhero thing now. And so Tom Hardy like jumps into the San Francisco Bay, jumps out of the San Francisco Bay onto like a buoy or whatever, and is just like, "Oh, my leg is fine. I'm fine from that car crash. What happened?"
And Venom's like, "Oh, I did it." Even though like they've already shown that Venom can do this like
Yeah,
dozens of times.
it's well
at this
established. I feel like they're very purposefully going back into like a decently written script and just being like, no,
point. We gotta explain this part.
we got to explain
how
it.
how did he get his leg fixed? What if the audience went out to get a popcorn and they come back and they're like, "Wait, that leg was broken,"
Yeah,
and then they go on the IMDb and they're like, "Continuity error."
yeah. I cry tears for the writers and directors and artists who get put on Marvel projects because it seems like a really...
I feel like that's the biggest problem that I have with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, besides the fact that all of the movies are bad, and
except for Black Panther.
Venom isn't part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It isn't?
No, it's not. It's not going to be canon. It's not going to be a canon part of it because they would have to connect it somehow, and I guess they don't want to do that effort. Also, because I think Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is like in high school, so Eddie Brock would have to be like, but like Eddie Brock and Peter Parker are like supposed to be kind of the same age.
They've been doing this Marvel Cinematic Universe shit for years and years and years now. I think at this point it's kind of like, I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll see. I'm not holding my breath. I think they could just be like, we were just kidding.
We're just kidding. Here he is. We wanted to make sure the movie wasn't gonna flop first. Here he is.
Yeah, exactly. Like they wanted to see people's reactions, I guess.
But like that sort of writing dynamic of just, we're gonna constantly explain everything, I feel like has infected like other movies.
Yeah.
And it's not in a like movies are getting dumbed down, but it's in a like, because of like the way nerds interact with films, they can't just like not have something be explained unless it's supposed to be a like makes you think, so that people can make YouTube videos that are like Babadook explained.
I wonder if that's had an effect on like the writing process.
I think it absolutely has, because it feels consistently like these like movies are really bad at leaving things up to ambiguity or up to subtlety or just showing you something and not having a character explain it.
That fucking sucks. Y'all, movies are craft.
Yeah, no, like I love when I can just like think about a movie or any sort of piece of work and try to tease it out, and not that like it's the Annihilation problem, where it's like people are talking about what a like vague and cool and mysterious film it was, but then I saw it and it's like they beat you over the head about what this movie is about. They literally
say it into the
have
camera.
A character say, "Oh, it's like cancer."
Yeah, like I don't know. I think I don't know. There's room for all comers. I have my qualms about like the, I guess, reading level of
the YouTube explained of movies.
Yeah.
And it's like there's definitely times where like I'll pull up a YouTube explained video, but it's usually just because it's something I like didn't pay too much attention to. So I'm like, oh, I probably missed a scene.
Right.
But it's like usually because it's work that it's like I don't think is going to be that smart. I recently watched all of Castle Rock, which is the Stephen King expanded universe TV show on Hulu.
Oh yeah.
And there was definitely some scenes that like I had missed, so I was like, I don't want to like go back and rewatch and try to figure out where I missed those. So I just like looked up explanation articles, and and it was as soon as I got to the scene, like, if you remember this scene, I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. I didn't need you to explain it to me. I just needed to know like what scene was I like cooking and like missed something because I wasn't looking at that screen at that moment.
Damn, I wonder if it's just an attention span thing, that people just like, people don't actually give a shit about those videos. They're just like, what happened in that movie?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen explanation videos for films that are like have no depth at all to them.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like they're just cranking those out. Like any horror film, if you look up blank explained, there will be a video literally just describing the ending of the movie.
Well, Venom ending explained.
Ending explained. Who was that guy in the cage?
Who was he? Who could he have possibly been?
Well, if you study this scene, you will notice What happened to the scientist lady with the black hair and updo and the kind of cool glasses?
Why was her dead body on the floor in one scene?
Why?
What could that possibly
Actually,
mean?
real question: why did she agree to a meeting with Elon Musk in the specimen room?
Their quarantine proceedings were just
He just walks out of like a dead body with a symbiote there. Goes in with no protection, walks out and leaves the door open.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you let it die, and I'm mad about that. And it's like, you don't know anything about this species.
The funniest part of the whole fucking movie to me was when we were talking about that little where Riot kind of makes this weird journey through Malaysia, and then there's this 12-year-old girl, and then there's so few steps in that process that the 12-year-old girl just shows up in Elon Musk's lab and just kind of somehow breaks in.
Yeah.
And then infects Elon Musk. I feel like you could have had more of a Rube Goldberg machine situation there, but I don't this. Their security is dog shit.
Yeah, that was an extremely comics moment of just character gets here somehow. Or even the Malaysian woman who gets to the airport, it's how did she get into the airport? I don't think she has a ticket. She doesn't look like where is this airport? Because it's not in Malaysia.
Yeah, that was God. I don't know. It was all over the place, but
also even just why did the symbiote jump from an extremely healthy ambulance woman who seemed to be doing well to an extremely old sick woman?
Yeah, actually.
That was the thing I didn't understand. I was your current host seems to be doing fine, and you basically just killed anybody who could have identified you.
Yeah.
You can just keep going.
I feel like the kind of double reasoning of that is okay, you killed people, and maybe you don't want to be recognized.
I guess there's if it's not finding a host that's doing well, it's okay, I gotta jump. But the time span in which it has to jump seems to be just arbitrary. And yeah, exactly. I think if it's just not even just a Rube Goldbergian thing, I think it would have been cool if it's just every time we saw him, he was in a different host.
Yeah.
And so the scene would play out in terms of you trying to figure out okay, which one is the host?
It would have been a way more fun body snatchers thing.
Yeah, because then by the end when he shows up there, if it's oh, he's a scientist who works here and this is what happens, you wouldn't question it because they'd be he probably came into San Francisco and tracked a dude down who works there, fucking whatever. I don't need to see his whole journey, but I do want to know how a 12-year-old girl got off of a plane and just broke into his lab unaccompanied.
Yeah, I would love to know that. I would have loved if they also played with the plot element more of how the symbiotes kind of actually kill their hosts a little bit, or rather if there isn't symbiosis, it's they kind of just kill their organs one by one.
Yeah.
And so there was a part where Eddie Brock's character kind of it's his heart has completely atrophied, but the symbiote being inside of him is keeping him alive, and is Venom's just no, I can fix it. Which they don't really talk about it again.
That's one of those things that they don't. So my gleaning of that, given everything that all the pieces they give you, and they probably didn't think about it too much, but my gleaning of that was that the idea is that if they're not feeding, they start to feed on their host's body.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And so that was part of them not being in perfect sync, was that Eddie was stopping him from eating people, and so he was basically feeding off of Eddie's body. So he was no, I can fix it. Was no, I was just a little hungry. I just ate a little bit of your heart, but I can fix it. I just need to get something else in me. But I was a little hungry, and your heart was looking like a Totino's pizza roll.
Your heart was looking like a snack. Yeah, I don't know. Fun movie.
Yeah, really big, dumb, fun movie.
Yeah.
If you just want to go see a big, dumb, fun, loud movie with lots of noise and weird sexual undertones.
Yeah, and a cute boy.
Who plays a drooling dumbass who does the YouTube things where they just eat a bunch of food.
Oh, mukbang.
Mukbang.
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
He does the mukbang stuff in that movie.
Great in this film. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Tom Hardy's great in it. Tom Hardy's kind of the backbone of the movie.
Yeah, he really is, he was definitely, I remember, when it was announced that he was going to be Venom, people were he's not going to be good Venom, and then I saw it and I was no, he does really good. He plays an idiot dumbass really well.
And, in a sense, in a sense, he's not Venom. Venom is CGI. Venom is a voice actor somewhere. Tom Hardy is just, a really good sort of, suffering man who is just kind of dealing with the symbiote thing. So I think he does great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in all, a fun movie.
Yeah, what would you rather have spent?
Let's see. Tickets for IMAX like $15. So
Yeah.
I would have rather spent $15. How much are like tickets like an amusement park?
You know?
Because I feel like that's kind of like the same kind of fun, but like I'd get a little bit more like exercise and some sun on me.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think like a $15 sort of like just entrance fee into like a more sort of exercise and more sort of, you know.
Like more like, or like more like, oh, I'm also big and fun, big dumb fun, but like I'm getting like
Yeah.
I'm getting some like productivity dopamine added in there as well.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm glad I didn't spend the $15 on.
Avengers 2 again.
I was at 7-Eleven run
7-Eleven.
because this was like more of the same sort of like satisfaction, but with less of the like, whoa, why?
I'm glad I didn't spend the $15 on bulk frozen tater tots. That's one thing that I'm really happy that isn't in my life, and Venom is. Yeah.
I still just keep thinking back to like, I don't believe. I mean, I would believe that a journalist like him lives in a shitty apartment and subsists off tater tots. I would not believe that he just like, oh, I got fired from my fake journalism, my real journalism job,
Yeah.
and now I just don't have any other options.
Yeah, what do I do?
Because it's like, yeah, Elon Musk can get you blacklisted from like every like legit job, but like, what is he can't get you banned off Twitter unless you changed your name. That's what happened. Is he changed his name to Italian Elon Musk and got banned. That's why he can't run a Patreon successfully.
Yeah, he said the word turf once, and Elon Musk was not having it. Yeah, I don't know. Just watch it if you want to.
Yeah, go see it if you like big film movies, and hopefully we will have next Film Critters full episode out soon.
Soon. This month. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
I mean, we got time. We're like not even halfway through the month yet.
Yeah, we're not.
All
right. Thank you so much for listening.
If you like us, subscribe to us on YouTube,
yeah,
SoundCloud. More things coming soon.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, Very Cute Dog and Fussy Baby Bitch.
God, every time I have to say it. Someday I'm gonna have to get a real Twitter.
Same here, yeah. I haven't been a very cute dog in anything other than name for like at least 5 years.
Hey, you know what? If the brand works,
yeah, it's branding.
The brand works you.
It's tea. It's tea.
That's the and that's the tea.
And that is the Tuesday tea, even though we're recording this on a Saturday.
They don't have to do that. All right.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.